Ah, yes, we are back, baby. The Spartan Dogs are back. Welcome back to Spiro Avenue. You're back with me. The dog is back with Michigan State basketball. I got to admit, fans, I never thought we were going to see it with this team. I'll tell you now, I was pretending to be worried that we would never see it, but in fact, I was petrified and certain that we never would. The God Squad, Bible-thumping nature of this team did not seem to be predictive of a team that was ever going to find the snarl needed to win big, and that has been thrown out the window completely. And if you weren't convinced after a huge win against Iowa, if the huge win against Maryland didn't convince you, what does going down 19 against a team that's lights out at home, coming back and stuffing it down their throats do for you? Because it does a lot for me. I can't speak for you. I can't speak for anybody else but myself. But that win was goddamn impressive. I love the Maryland win. I thought it was gutsy. I love that Iowa win. Gutsy. Good win. Good, solid win against a good, solid team this year. This Penn State team, this Penn State win on the whole, they're not as good as Maryland, maybe not as good of an environment, but given the situation where they couldn't miss, it was like Middle Tennessee State 2.0, but they actually had enough guns to really justifiably continue some semblance of that pace. To go into that environment where Penn State's got a lot at stake and you're getting bombed, you're getting embarrassed, you're getting run off the floor and they won't miss, and you hang in there and you hit one haymaker and then another and then another and another and another. Michigan State is back. This is not a couple years ago the team that lost to Syracuse in Detroit, a virtual home game that had 10 times the talent of the team that beat them, the team that felled them in Detroit. This isn't that team. This team has the perfect combination of talent and dog, and I never thought we were going to see it. I admit it, and you can say I'm overreacting. I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue hard after the Maryland win and after the Iowa win. I'm not biting my tongue anymore. This team has got the dog back. They are back. Doesn't mean they're going to go undefeated on the way to a national title. It takes one bad game, one hot shooting team to knock you off. But they're not going to go down like punks. And that was my real concern. I did not want to see Cassius Winston, one of the 3 or 4 greatest players in the history of a storied program, go down like a punk. And that's exactly where this team was headed. All signs pointed to that. And speaking of the man of the hour, he wasn't the player of the game, but he was the player of the last 8 minutes. Cassius Winston, where has this been? I mean, far be it from me or anyone else to complain about Cassius Winston, but this guy actually is a Spartan Dawg after all. I've been begging all year, where the Spartan Dogs at, right? I see all these talented players. I see a well-coached team. I see a fundamentally sound team. I don't see any dog. And if you had any trace of doubt that Winston did in fact have it in him, I had gobs of doubt. I had barrels full of doubts that it was ever going to come out. That was washed away at hurricane speeds with the power of an F5 tornado when Tom Izzo is frantically calling timeout, screaming at his team with 4 minutes left. Crucial possession, Michigan State up only a few points with the ball. The game's starting to fall apart a little bit. 4 straight poor offensive possessions. Izzo is breaking his fingers on his own hand trying to call a timeout, and Cassius Winston somehow tunes him out and ignores him as if the guy's not even there, and just continues running the play and disregards his Hall of Fame coach, disregards the guy who runs that program with an iron fist. And he couldn't even be bothered. Couldn't even be bothered to look at him. He shakes him off, ignores the sign, which you don't do to a Tom Izzo level coach ever, and live to tell the story. Shakes him off, gets the offense into a good set, foul, free throws, boom, boom, game back in hand. And he looked like he wanted to kill somebody on the sidelines and had to be restrained from going nose to nose with his coach. This is Cassius Winston we're talking about. You know Cassius Winston, the guy with the cute little cartoon backpack? This guy, maybe the best player in 25 years, to pass through here. I would argue he's better than Mateen Cleaves, but he needs the title for his legacy. But I think he's a better player than Mateen. Best player in Tom Izzo's career, but he hasn't shown an ounce of real fire in 3.75 years. And in this stage, with the stakes so high, with an incredible comeback starting to slip away, just like the Maryland game, the first Maryland game where they had this huge comeback and then blew it. The game was starting to teeter a little bit back to Penn State. Cassius Winston says, F you, Tom Izzo. I'm going to do what I want to do. And it worked. It worked. And you know who wasn't upset about Tom Izzo getting the middle finger? Tom Izzo. I think Tom Izzo loved it. I think Tom Izzo has been waiting to see somebody on this team do that all season long. And we haven't seen it. And frankly, I don't know if we saw a dog to that degree last year. It was an incredible run last year. But it's been a while since we've seen somebody get in Tom Izzo's face like that and had the cachet to do it. And I'll say this about the game. Rocket Watts, in my opinion, saved that game. He went cold at the end, was cold a little bit at the beginning. That comeback never starts rolling without him. He carried them for about a 6-minute stretch in that second half, without which they lose that game. They were down big. He saved them. He got them off the mat. So major props to him. The guy looks like Dwayne Wade when he's on. And then he'll like airball layups and airball like 10-footers. He's kind of a weird guy. But when he's on, he's terrifying. I mean, in the open court, can't guard him. No one can keep him in front of him if he gets any space whatsoever. Good luck to the rest of the Big Ten going forward. You guys are all in trouble next year. Because this team, assuming Tillman stays, Tillman, Watts, and Joey Hauser as the core, they're going to be great next year without Cassius. But that's for another day. Going into Sunday, senior day, chance to win the Big Ten. Who would have thought it? And how many times are we going to get out the shovel and bury Tom Izzo and then have to get the shovel back out and scoop him back up and welcome him back to earth? How many times are we going to go through this routine? It happens again and again and again, and we never learn. I said on this show that I was not counting them out and that you cannot count them out, but I had no reason to believe in this team other than past history of Tom Izzo resuscitating Big Ten Conference title hopes from seemingly thin air. That was my only basis. My only basis for belief. It was nothing I saw, nothing I had seen all year. It was nothing other than Tom Izzo's track record, and chalk it up. Chalk up the win to Tom Izzo's track record because they will be favored at home. Cassius Winston Senior Day, they ain't losing that game. They will not lose that game. And you can run to Vegas. You can buy all that stock that you want because you can cash that ticket now. Michigan State will be at least co-Big Ten Conference champions again, and I think they're probably going to win the Big Ten tournament again. This is the flagship team of this conference. This is the best team in this conference. And this is the team that is the envy of this conference. And if you don't like it, check the record book and suck it. There's nothing you can do about it. This is your team. This is the flag bearer for the conference. I'm excited. And I was going to do a show tonight making fun of the Pistons for 5 minutes. I don't even want to talk about them. You want to know what my Pistons topic was? Derrick Rose got hurt. The Pistons are stupid. They should have traded him for draft picks. That's the Pistons topic. The Michigan State topic is we're going to be Big Ten champs again. Mark it down. Cut up this clip. Do whatever you got to do. Michigan State's going to do it again. They're going to do it again. This program, Mel Tucker's trying to run with the relentless hashtag. This program has been relentless for 25 years. It's unbelievable. And even the most unabashed, diehard Michigan State fans like myself, like my brother who has the Night at the Roxbury style basement that I shared on Twitter the other day, even we have that seed of doubt creep in with Tom Izzo. And he just so rarely lets you down. You're in good hands with Tom Izzo. This program will always be in good hands with Tom Izzo. And as much as I made fun of little Steven Izzo and his 5'2" self, jumping around like a cheerleader on the sidelines, being a part of this program. I had a little too much fun with it. At the end of the day, if that buys me 4 more years of Tom Izzo, sign me up. Are we sure that Tom doesn't want to have any more children, that maybe we can keep him here for another 23 years? Because that guy's a gangster. This program is a gangster, and Cassius Winston is the Spartan Dawg we've been looking for. Who knew it? Who knew it? I didn't know it. And if you thought that Cassius Winston had that in him, I think you're a liar. We all knew he had greatness in him. We all knew he had a domination in him. If you thought that Cassius Winston had it in him to blow off a timeout call, score, and then go look like he wants to kill Tom Izzo on the sidelines, I don't know what you're basing that on, because we haven't seen any evidence of that until tonight. And we saw it. We wondered all year if this was going to happen, and it happened. So go green, go white. Everyone else, you're going to be looking up at the standings at Michigan State, except Maryland, who might be looking sideways. Go blue, by the way. I hope you guys take care of business for us. Do us a favor. I'm your biggest fan. Take care of business. We'd like sole possession of that conference title. I don't want to share the throne, but I'd rather share the throne than not be on it at all. Incredible game, incredible night. Cassius Winston, balls of steel. This program, balls of steel. Xavier Tillman is one of the best players in the country. He's frighteningly good. He's a savant on defense. One of the best defensive players we've ever seen. The best player probably since Draymond Green on that end. Maybe Gary Harris, if you want to get into that. This team has the talent. Everyone knows Aaron Henry has the talent. Everyone knows Cassius Winston, Xavier Tillman, Rocket Watts might be the most talented of anybody on the team right now. That was not in dispute. They got a Hall of Fame coach. Those pieces were in place. What was not in place, what we had no sign of, was this team's dog mentality. This team's embracing of the culture of this program. We saw no signs of it, even in success. We didn't see it. These guys were a bunch of high-fiving, lollygagging, happy-go-lucky saps. And I'm saying that with love. Not tonight. This team should all be thrown in prison tonight for murder, because they murdered an entire stadium tonight in Pennsylvania. They're on the lam. They're fleeing back to Michigan because they should all be locked up. Cassius Winston should be convicted of murder in the first degree, because that was premeditated. That was premeditated murder by Cassius Winston. And he'd be held on 2 charges of that if he hadn't been held back from his own coach. I love it. I love it. Welcome to Spartan Dawg Nation, Cassius Winston. If you needed to do anything else, one more box to check for your legacy short of a championship, it was showing that. And you did it. And I love you for it. I love all the members of Spartan Nation. What a great night. Enjoy it. You know, I would say you don't get many like it, but hell, if you're a Spartan fan, this is becoming like an annual tradition. This is getting like Christmas. Okay? So enjoy it anyway. I love you. I love Tom Izzo. I love Cassius Winston. And I love the tenacity that we are finally seeing out of this team. And what a great time. January, February, Izzo. You don't like that phrase? You better start beating this guy more often in March, because he's earned it. Spiro Avenue, Justin Spiro, go green, go white. Have a great night.